Even if you know the solution to LeetCode problem 605, in an interview you might be asked to make these 3 changes, and because of them, you could fail. Interview. So please watch this video until the end to avoid making these mistakes. The first change you might encounter is that instead of checking whether all the flowers will fit into the available pots, you need to determine how many flowers can fit in total. So you'll simply count placed, that's it, and add placed to your algorithm. Increment it by 1, and at the end, instead of returning a boolean, you can return an integer and say how many flowers, how many were we able to plant in the end. Second, according to the conditions, we are told that we must actually plant a flower in an available pot. But maybe you'll be told that you don't actually need to plant it, you just need to count instead. So you'll need to remove that line of code where we actually place a 1 instead of a 0. Everything else will remain the same. But these are very important details. Here, they'll simply be checking whether you're listening carefully. So technically it's easy, but it's a test of your attentiveness. And the third change you might also be asked to make is to create an array where you'll directly store the indices of the places where you planted a flower. So if you planted a flower, for example, we have the third pot, the index will be 2, and we need to write exactly the number 2 into our positions array. And all the flowers we plant will record here, for example, 2, 4, and so on. And in this way, instead of returning a boolean again, we'll return the array itself. It's very important to understand here that you will be asked not just for a technical solution to this problem, but also about your attentiveness, whether you are able to do this, whether you can listen to the requirements of the problem, whether you can adapt, and whether you will return exactly the results you are asked for, and also make the modifications that you are given for testing. So listen to the problems carefully, pay close attention to the requirements, and avoid making these kinds of mistakes. And be sure not to rush to give the final answer. Double check everything several times. Definitely save this problem for yourself so you can revisit it later. Write in the comments which problems you'd like to see next, subscribe, and let's keep going.